Hello guys, it's always exciting when I come here to share information that I know will benefit you in your quest to relocate to Canada. A lot of people are been wondering how they can migrate to Canada with low CRS score. That's why today's video I'll be talking about 4 provincial nominee programs that can help you migrate to Canada even with a very low CRS score. We all know that express entry remains the most popular route to migrate to Canada as a ski immigrant, but there's a problem, or there's a little hurdle when it comes to the express entry. That's the CRS score, or what we call the comprehensive ranking system. The score for the general express entry draws are very high. We get up to 500 plus on a regular since they've been doing the draw since this year, and it's going to remain like that for a period of time, if probably for a couple of years. So but how can you help yourself so that you can migrate to Canada as a skilled immigrant even when the CRS score for the general express entry draws are very high? The best thing to do is to navigate through some provincial nominee programs. So that's why this video today I'll be talking about 4 provincial nominee programs that even with a low CRS score of about 300 plus, you can still migrate to Canada. I'll also talk about some of them that do not require job offer, some of them that require job offer. So please, I want you to sit tight in this video so that you can learn and know the different routes which you can maximize to come to Canada. So please sit tight to the end of the video, all right? My name is Raphael. This is my YouTube channel. As you can see, on a regular basis, I post videos, informations, opportunities, anything that I know will facilitate or help you in your quest to relocate to Canada. That's what I do here. So I want you guys to please subscribe to my YouTube channel if you have not. If this is your first time to be here, you are in the right place. So click the subscribe button, turn on the notification button as well, so that you'll always be the first to get my video whenever I post them. All right, guys, sit tight through this video so that you learn about 4 provincial nominee programs that you can take advantage of even with your low CRS score. All right, guys. Hello guys, it's good to be back again. All right, so provincial nominee programs afford you the advantage to get 600 points if you are nominated from a particular province. There are a lot of provinces in Canada, so whatever province you showed your expression of interest and you're favored or you're lucky and you get nominated, so you'll be allotted 600 points by that province, and that means automatically in the next express entry draws you receive your ITA. ITA means invitation to apply for permanent resident. So this is another very good way to migrate to Canada. So let's dive in, all right? As I said, I'll be talking about 4 provinces that you can take advantage of even with your low CRS score of as low as 300 plus, all right? And some of them don't even require a job offer. So the first one is the Ontario Immigrant Nominee Program, all right? I've talked about this a little in some of my videos. If you've not watched the video, you can go and watch them. I'll put the link in the description below in this video, all right? I talked in details about that. So this, I'm just going to point out the pros and the cons, all right? So for that, the Ontario Immigrant Nominee Program, we have the UMA Capital Priority Streams. The UMA Capital Priority Streams, the eligibility criteria involves that you have an active express entry profile, you have the relevant experience in the particular NOC you've chosen, which usually falls under NOC 1, tier 0, 1, 2, 3, all right. When I say NOC, we're talking about your occupation. All right. You must have the relevant experience in your occupation. All right. You must have CLB7 in the language benchmark ranking. There are different language tests you can take when coming to Canada. You can take the PT core, you can take the CEPIP, you can also take the IELTS General as well. You can do French if you are good with French, but you must have CLB7, all right? The minimal benchmark is CLB7. And you must have a bachelor degree or higher, right? For that, you also have to do your educational credential assessment verification. I've done a video on that, how you can use WES to do your educational credential assessment. So I'll also drop the link in the description below. So those are the eligibility criteria, Very important for you to take note. Then what are the pros when it comes to the Ontario Immigrant Nominee Program through the Human Capital Priority Streams? One of the first pro is that you don't need a job offer. You don't need a job offer. You don't need a job offer. So this is very good, guys. And the CRS scores are usually very low. The last CRS score that was done was about 352. Can you imagine? So it's in the range of 300 CRS score. So you can take advantage of that if your CRS score is low. Then another thing you should take note in the pros is that the draws coming regularly, all right, although not too frequent, but we know they always do the draw, and they select particular occupations, especially the healthcares and the tech workers. So those are the pros, all right. What are the cons you should take care of, know about, all right? The cons are that you cannot predict the draws. We know they happen frequently, regularly, but you cannot predict the draws, all right? Then when you receive your NOI, what we call notification of interest, then you have to pay an application fee of about 1,500 CAD. So it's not totally free when it comes to this express entry. So these are the pros and these are the cons, all right? So guys, take advantage of that. All right, guys, it's good to be back. This is still a continuation of the Ontario Immigrant Nominee Programs. So in this one, we'll be talking about French-speaking skilled workers program. Basically, the eligibility criteria for this is that you must have an active express entry profile. We keep talking about express entry profile. It's very important, all right? You must have an active express entry profile. And you must have minimal benchmark of CLB 7 in your French language test and CLB 6 in English. So it means you need both languages, all right, English and French. For French, the minimal benchmark is CLB 7. Then for English, it's okay for you to have the minimal benchmark of CLB 6. Then the third thing you should know when it comes to the eligibility criteria of this is that you must have the relevant experience in the NOC or the occupation you have chosen. When we say NOC, we're talking about occupation, right? And when we say NOC, the occupation we're looking at must fall under tier 0, 1, 2, or 3. Then the last eligibility criteria is that you must have a Canadian diploma, bachelor or master's or its equivalent. When we say equivalent, we're talking about if you are in another country, it means that if you have this degree, diploma, bachelor, or master's, you have to match it up with Canadian educational degree as well. And to do that, all you need to do is basically to do your educational credential assessment. There are so many organizations, there are about 7 organizations that does this, but one of the most popular one is WES and ICAS. All right, I've done a video on how you can use WES to evaluate your educational credentials. So please, I'm going to drop the link for that in the description below. So if you need to do that, go and watch the video so that you know how you can create and use WES to do your educational credential assessment. It's a very fast process, all right, guys? So once you've done that, then you've met the eligibility criteria. So what are the pros? The pros is that you require bilingual language proficiency test results, English CLB 6 and French minimal CLB 7. Then the second thing to take note in the pros is that the CRS scores are very low. In this year, when they did their draw, one of the CRS score was 305. Can you imagine? So the scores are really very low. Then the cons is that it's difficult because you have to do 2 language tests, which is French and English. It's difficult, all right? Most people that are in French-speaking country, it's difficult for them to get good score when it comes to English. Most people that are in English-speaking countries, it's difficult for them to get good score when it comes to French. But the truth is that nothing is impossible if you set your mind to do. All you need to do is to take that time and learn this language. So, but with age, it gets difficult. It gets difficult as you get older. When you're young, it's easy to learn languages, but once you get to the age of 30, generally becomes difficult. But take note, it's not impossible. It's just for you to set your mind, take your time, and learn the language that you need to learn. Then once you are able to get it done and get minimum of CLB7 in your French and minimum of CLB6 in your English, then you are good to go. All right. The good thing is, once you are good with French, you get CLB7 in French, it's almost inevitable that if you really desire to come to Canada, anything can stop you. Nothing actually can stop you. It's just for you to know what to do. It doesn't even have to be this Ontario Immigrant Nominee Program. There are different pathways that facilitate or that help French speakers to come to Canada. So it's just for you to know what to do. All right. So that's that for the Ontario Immigrant Nominee Program. So we'll move on to another province now, all right, which is the British Columbia. Hello, guys. All right, so let's talk about British Columbia Provincial Nominee Programs. British Columbia Provincial Nominee Programs have different streams that align with the Express Entry system. The first one we'll talk about here is the Skilled Workers British Columbia Provincial Nominee Program. The eligibility criteria here is that you must have an active Express Entry profile, you must have a job offer. So that's a little bit difficult, but it's doable. You must have a job offer, you must have CLB7 in French or in English. All right, take note, you must have one of those two. Then you must have the relevant experience needed in the occupation that you claim. So when we say occupation, we're talking about NOC here, and it must be under tier 0, 1, 2, or 3. So you must have the relevant experience. Then you must have a degree in diploma, bachelor degree, or even master's or its equivalent. All right, we've talked about this already. So all you need to do is to do your documents, your educational credential assessment. So these are the eligibility criteria. What are the pros? The pros is that this system is very fast. Once you show your expression of interest or once you receive your NOI, it's very fast. It's almost immediate because it aligns with the Express Entry system. Then most of the time the draws usually favors those in healthcare workers and tech workers as well. What are the cons? The cons is that you need a job offer. So this makes it a little bit difficult, but it's doable. You need a job offer. All right. So those are the things you need to take note. Then the next thing to look at in the British Columbia Nominee Program, it's the International Student British Columbia Nominee Programs. This is basically dedicated or targeted at international students. These are students that you recently graduated from Canada. So it means you must have a Canadian degree. The eligibility criteria is that you must have a Canadian degree within the past 3 years, all right? Post-secondary Canadian degree, which could be diploma, bachelor's degree, or even master's in the past 3 years, or even PhD as well in the past 3 years. You must have an active Express Entry profile. You must have a minimum benchmark in French or in English of CLB7. Then I've already talked about this also. You must have a job offer. So these are the things that makes you eligible. What are the pros? The pros is that the system is very fast. It aligns with the Express Entry system. It's almost immediate when you receive your NOI. All right. Then the cons is that you must be a graduate from a Canada institution, post-secondary institution. So this is specifically targeted. This is specifically for international students that are just graduating. So if you're an international student, you're watching this video, this is an opportunity for you. Take advantage of this. All right. Then the cons, in continuation of the cons, is that it targets most especially health and tech workers. All right, guys. So that's all for the British Columbia Provincial Nominee System, Provincial Nominee Programs that aligns with the Express Entry system. We'll move to the next province now, which is all right, guys. So the next provincial nominee program we'll be talking about is going to be Alberta Advantage Provincial Nominee Program, or what we call the AAIP. All right. So this is popularly known for their low CRS score of about 300. So let's look at the eligibility criteria. The first thing is that you must have an active express entry profile. You must have a CRS score of at least 300. So they invite people that have at least 300 CRS score. So this is a very good thing. All right. Then you must have a strong ties in Alberta. You must have a strong ties, or if you don't have a strong tie, it means you probably have a job offer in the relevant experience occupation that you claim you have, or rather, let me paraphrase it, you must have a job offer, all right, in one of those occupations that are in demand in Alberta, those occupations that they've been deemed to favor the economic growth in Alberta. So it's very important. Those are the eligibility criteria. Okay, so the pros is that the CRS score is very low as 300. Then the occupations are usually done in such a way that if you're selected, it must favor the growth of the economy of Alberta. Then the cons is that the draws are usually vague. We cannot really predict how the draws are going to be. Then the second thing to take note is that you cannot apply to this province. You're only selected from the express entry pool. So those are the cons and the pros when it comes to this. But take note, all you basically need is to have a strong ties in Alberta, to have minimum CRS score of 300, then you must have an active express entry profile. I think this is a good one. People should take advantage of this, especially those that have relatives in Alberta. All right, so that's for Alberta. Let's go to another province, okay? All right, so let's talk about Nova Scotia. This one is actually very sweet because you don't need a job offer for this. You don't need a job offer. Just like the first one, this is the last province I'm talking about. So this is also another province you guys can take advantage of. You don't need a job offer for this. So for Nova Scotia, there are two express entry pathways. We call it the Nova Scotia Demand and the Nova Scotia Experience. So let's start with the Nova Scotia Demand. The Nova Scotia Demand, the eligibility criteria is that you must have an active express entry profile. You must have the relevant experience in the NOC or the occupation you've chosen. You must have minimal benchmark of CLB7 in English or French, all right? As I said, there's no job offer needed for this. You must have the Canadian education in diploma, in the form of diploma, bachelor or master's, or its equivalent, all right? We've talked about that. Then the pros you should take note of is that the draws happens, all right, it happens, but they target occupations in demand. Then, as I said, you don't need a job offer. So this is a very good one, guys. Take advantage of this. Then the cons is that it's a little bit competitive because the nominations or the slot they have for the nomination is not very high, so it's a little bit competitive, but there's no harm in trying, all right? So that's what you need to know about the occupation, the Nova Scotia Demand under the express entry system. You must have an active express entry profile. So guys, this is really good. No job offer needed. CRS score is low. All right, so this is really, really good. This is really, really good. Let's go to the other one, which is called the Nova Scotia Experience, guys. For Nova Scotia Experience, Nova Scotia is making a lot of sense, guys. If you've not really done your research, so that's why this video is here today. It's really making a lot of sense. So I've talked about Nova Scotia Demand. So for Nova Scotia Experience, there's no particular CRS score. The CRS score is very low. There's no particular CRS score. It could be 100, it could be 50, it could be 200. But what the eligibility criteria is that you must have worked in Nova Scotia before, right? You must have gotten a relevant experience in Nova Scotia. So if you're in Canada, you're in Nova Scotia, take advantage of this. You must have CLB7 in English or French language benchmark, all right? Then you must have an active express entry profile. You don't need a job offer, but if you have a job offer, good one. But what basically you need to show is that you must have worked in Nova Scotia before. So that's all about the different 4 provincial nominee programs. Okay, guys. I'm so excited to have explained these various pathways or these various provincial nominee programs. As we all know, provincial nominee program helps people that have low scores to migrate to Canada as a permanent resident. As I've said earlier on, express entry is the most popular route, people know, but the draws are usually the draws happen regularly, but the CRS scores are usually very high, more than 500 when it comes to the CRS score. So this video will help you if you have a low CRS score. Some of the provinces I've mentioned, they don't need a job offer. All right, so you should take advantage of these various provinces. The provinces I've mentioned is the Ontario. I've talked about Ontario. I've talked about British Columbia. I've talked about Alberta, and I've talked about Nova Scotia. So take advantage of these provinces, and before you know it, you receive your nomination and you receive your ITA, and you can come to Canada as a permanent resident. Anyways, I'm glad you guys stayed through to the end of this video. If this video makes sense, please drop a comment, click the like button, and if you have not subscribed, this is an opportunity for you to subscribe. Click the subscription button down below. You don't want to miss opportunities like this. You don't want to miss informations like this that will help you. All right, so subscribe, turn on the notification button as well, so that you always be the first to get my video. As you can see, that's what I do here in this YouTube channel. I send information, I share information, opportunity, different pathways with which you can use to migrate to Canada. Even if you're already in Canada as an international student, or you are not in Canada, you're outside Canada and you're thinking of migrating to Canada as a permanent resident, then this channel is for you. So please subscribe. All right, I don't only talk about migrating as a permanent resident. I talk about visitors visas as well. I talk about study permit. I talk about work permit and all that. So if you're interested in Canada, just subscribe to this YouTube channel, because back to back, I post informations that will help you. All right, guys, thank you for staying to the end of this video. See you in my next video. Bye for now.